It's time for my 2025 post-spring Mountain West Power Rankings. Starting at the bottom, I've got Wyoming. The Cowboys have a decent amount of returning production, and they return this staff, but I really just do not have much faith in them after the dumpster fire that was last season in a year where they were supposed to sustain what Craig Bull had built, and it was just a dumpster fire. I do not trust this coaching staff. I don't think they're good enough to win games in the Mountain West. At number 11, I've got Nevada. There's a lot of things to like about the progression of this team, but I still think they're just a little bit behind the 8 ball talent-wise, and there was a lot of trends, like their close losses last season versus much better competition, that suggests it's a well-coached team that could pop this year, so maybe they could improve their win total. At number 10, I've got Utah State. I really wanted to like the Aggies more this year. I love Bronco Mendenhall and all the pieces he brought over from New Mexico, but the fact that his offensive staff and players didn't follow him is a little alarming. There's some solid offensive infrastructure here with the Aggies, but still a lot of newness and a lot of staff shakeup that I just don't necessarily love. At number 9, I've got Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors just have not been able to find consistency on offense. It's the third straight season they're breaking in a new offensive coordinator. They're probably going to have the worst offensive line in the conference again. Their defense gives them a higher floor, but I think they're going to be in a similar tier to where they were last season. At number 8, I've got San Diego State. They're a well-talented team that has a solid defense to fall back on and a head coach that specializes in offense in Sean Lewis. So I really think the signs of positive progression could be there for them this season. At number 7, I've got Air Force. They should ride their momentum from last season into a solid year where they, at the very least, make a bowl game and get back to their offensive identity. At number 6, I've got Fresno State. There's a lot of things to like about the Bulldogs, like their talent level and their key defensive contributors that are returning, but I think the disconnect is I just don't like Matt Entz, and I don't think he can lead an FBS program like Fresno State. Yes, he won national titles, but it was at North Dakota State where they had fantastic infrastructure in place. Can he do great things at Fresno State? I don't think so. At number 5, I've got New Mexico. I didn't expect to love this team that much at all, especially after they lost Bronco Mendenhall, but Jason Eck has brought just basically an FCS all-star team from Idaho and other places like Montana State, and I think they're going to be extremely competitive this season and be one of the biggest surprises in college football. At number 4, I've got San Jose State. They returned so many serious contributors on both sides of the football. The staff is really sound this season, and I think they're going to be in a position to potentially make a Mountain West title run. At number 3, I've got Colorado State. I think this is going to be a big payoff year under head coach Jay Norvell, where Colorado State will have another chance to push for a Mountain West title game. They returned so many key playmakers like Braden Fowler, Nicolosi at quarterback, and I think they've got a very high floor. At number 2, I've got UNLV. I simply think Dan Mullen still got it. He raised the overall talent level of this squad. He's got a home run staff. There was some weirdness with Zach Arnett retiring or resigning from his position, and so they had to replace him, but they did a solid job of that, and I think they're going to be a great team. At number 1, I've got Boise State. The most casual fan you know is going to say, well, they don't have Ashton Jeanty. They're not going to be very good this year. And they just don't know what they're talking about because Boise State has all conference defenders and offensive players all over this football team. They're going to be right back in contention and favored to win the Mountain West this season.